NFL season is actually, well, not the season, but the fake season is upon us. We're one week into preseason football, and you know how I've been for years. I don't really care about the preseason. I mean, I do check in for the stories and to make sure no one gets hurt, obviously, because you don't want any of your star players to get hurt. But this is obviously the time of the year, mid-August now, where NFL is about 3 weeks away. After Labor Day is coming up soon. After Labor Day, the season starts. And you start getting the narratives, start getting the stories and whatnot. In 2 weeks from this podcast, as we're doing this, we've done every year for the last 10 years of this podcast. We always do our over-unders every season with me, my friend Zach, and Chris. We're going to do that again in 2 weeks. That podcast is scheduled for August 28th, 29th. 2 weekends from now. So we're going to be doing that. And obviously, you will look out for that podcast when it comes out. But to get excited for the season, I'm going to share 5 stories for the 2021 NFL season that I'm looking forward to entering this year. So, number 1. This is not in particular order in terms of what's more excited or not. I'm just giving you 5 stories off the cuff that I'm looking forward to talking about. And I may share 5 more next week. Who knows? Number 1. Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers repeat? And can Tom Brady sustain? Okay, so obviously Tom Brady's first year last year in Tampa. He's 44 this year. The Bucs, won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady at the helm, first year in. To me, they are the favorites. You look on the NFC right now, what teams can contend? Well, I think the NFC West teams, honestly, which I'll get to in a second, are going to could be a problem. Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, as long as he's healthy, could be a problem. And then that is it. The NFC, has teams that can compete, but Tampa on paper, to be honest with you, is arguably better than they were last year. On paper, they're better than last year. So, and remember, last year they hit a little bit of a bump in the road middle of the year. Remember, they went 7-5 to start the year, and then after that, they won every single game after that, including the Super Bowl. So, and now they're better. So, Tampa to me is, I wouldn't go so far as say they are the heavy favorites, but it's fairly significant. It's fairly significant because, again, I think they've gotten better. I don't think any other team in the NFC, except maybe the Rams, getting Matthew Stafford, got better. So, could the Bucs repeat? Yes. Brady could sustain. We'll see. Tom Brady, obviously he's 44 years old, but again, the guy cares. So, why bet? At this point, 7 rings in, why are we betting against this guy? The guy still gives a shit, So that's what the first story I'm looking forward to seeing this year play out. Number 2, the Miami Dolphins and Tua, the quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. I live down here in South Florida. I always say the Dolphins are my second team. I'm a Giants fan, obviously, diehard Giants fan. But my second favorite team is the Miami Dolphins. I say all the time that I root against the Dolphins only once every 4 years, and that'll come this year when they play the Giants. Dolphins were 10-6 last year, missed the playoffs by a tiebreaker. Tua, lots of mixed reviews on him as the future. Is he the future of the Dolphins or is he not? I don't know. There were rumors about whether the Dolphins could go after Deshaun Watson and another quarterback, but right now they are sticking with Tua, which is good. I'm glad they're doing that. I want to see if this kid can grow. He's a great kid for starters. He's a great kid. So I want to see things play out for him. Let him get a fair chance, a fair shake at this. The Dolphins should be pretty good this year. To me, it's this simple. If they make the playoffs and Tua is decent, he'll remain the starter going to next year. If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs this year, then obviously you look at other situations. This team is ready. This team is a playoff team, roster wise. The big question here is, how good is Tua? How good is he going to be? We shall see. He's the number one question because their defense is fine. O-line's fine. They got receivers. They got decent running backs. They're good. Quarterback is the number one question. That's simple. Number 3, the NFC East. What's real? So, if you ask me as a Giants fan, and by the way, the Giants are in the NFC East, if you had to put money on who will win the division this year, who's the best team in your opinion that's prepared to win the East right now, just on paper and just, a safe bet? I'll say Dallas Cowboys. They got Dak. They got a good roster. They got Zeke. Defense is kind of O-line is decent. But I would say of the 4 teams between the Redskins, the Giants, and Eagles, and now the Cowboys, they are probably the team that is well equipped to win the East. Dak Prescott to me is a top 10 quarterback in the league. On the bottom of 10, but he's still top 10 quarterback in the league. The question to me is this: who's a team that can make things go crazy, go haywire going forward? So the Eagles will be terrible this year. The Eagles are rebuilding. The Eagles have traded Carson Wentz, and they're starting from scratch. The Redskins made the playoffs last year, nearly beat the Buccaneers in the wild card game, but they don't have a quarterback. You got Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is what? Good every 4 games. You can't rely on that. Now their defense is fantastic, but we don't know if this team can win 8-9 games. But again, that's all what it may take to win the division, though, too, depending on how it plays out, as you saw last year. You know, the team that can change everything here for me, for anybody, and the perception of the NFC East, is the Giants. Nobody could put their hands on the New York Giants because the Giants, on paper, have gotten better. Defense is solid on paper. You get Saquon Barkley back. They have good receivers. I'll say it again. And I had my buddy Corey Vasquez on the podcast about 2 weeks ago, and he said himself, and we both agree with this. What about Daniel Jones? This is year 3. If Daniel Jones takes the next step, because he has the talent to do it. To me, he's a very talented guy. He's mobile. He has a great arm. He's a great build. He's tall. He's had some decent games to make you believe that he can be a really good quarterback in this league. He has the tools to be a top quarterback in this league. But he turns the ball over so damn much. He has bad pocket presence and whatnot. So can he clean up his mess? Can he clean up that? If he does that, in my opinion, this is a 10-plus win team. If Daniel Jones takes the next step, I'm not even saying be MVP. I'm not even saying him to be Tom Brady like Aaron Rodgers like. Just be a good quarterback with a good roster. They'll win the division. They'll be ahead of the Cowboys. That's simple. But that's a big if. And to me, this is the year. This is the year. Because if the Giants and Daniel Jones don't take the next step this year, he's gone. He's obviously going to be the quarterback, probably in waiting, whatever. He'll be probably gone, or at least, they're not going to probably sign him. I mean, we'll see. David Gettleman, GM, will probably end up being gone also, too. Because that was his draft. That was his selection. So, big year for the Giants. This is a huge year for the Giants. This is arguably the biggest year for the Giants since probably one of the last Eli years, honestly. And it's a couple of years now. So, we'll see how that goes. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Is this really it for him in Green Bay this year? As you saw, the biggest story of the offseason, of course, in the NFL was Aaron Rodgers and his situation and him wanting to leave to get traded, whatever. Didn't happen, obviously. They came to a conclusion. They shortened his contract. He had 3 years on his contract, went down to 2, and year 2 after this year, he has pretty much an option to discuss it after the year's over, the future. To me, it comes down to this: if the Packers win the Super Bowl, he's probably going to end up staying. But if the Packers don't, he's got the Super Bowl. I think this is Rodgers last year. We'll see. I'm really curious, and I'll say it again. I'm really curious how this plays out throughout the year, because he is, to me, the greatest quarterback in that franchise's history. He's not the most liked, though, and I'm wondering the Packer fans, who are very loyal and very, they'll speak their piece, how they will adjust to Rodgers this year, knowing that this could be his last year in Green Bay, because Brett Favre was forced out of Green Bay. It's a big difference. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, but he's maybe open. There's still a door for him to stay long term, depending on how this team builds around him, how they adjust. We'll see how that goes. Last story I'm looking forward to this year, and this is something I'm actually thinking this could really happen. Can the NFC West take all 4 teams to the postseason? Now, as you know, we now have 7 teams per conference at the playoffs, 4 divisions, which opens the door for a possibility of 4 teams in the division to all go to the playoffs. You look at the NFC, the West. To me, the NFC West right now on paper is easily the best division of football. Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams. And you can argue all 4 teams either got better or will be better or still decent enough to make the playoffs. Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks, top 5 quarterback in the league. The Niners won the Super Bowl like just a year ago. Okay, had a lot of injuries last year, but were in a lot of games. They'll be back. The Rams got better now with a quarterback, Matthew Stafford. The Cardinals are on the ascent. You look at the teams in the NFC right now. Who are your locks? I mean, do this locks thing with me and my buddy Kyle Nash on this podcast when we get to the end of the year. To me, the locks in the NFC are this. You have NFC East. The East ain't taking more than one team. We know that. The East is taking no more than one team. So either Giants or Cowboys, maybe even Redskins. But not 2 or 3 teams. That ain't happening. And NFC North, that could be the division where maybe you get 2 teams. I'll put in Green Bay as a lock because it's Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he's healthy. And then after that, the 3 teams down the list ain't the Lions. They got worse. The Vikings, maybe, but I don't trust them. The Bears, I doubt it. I mean, we'll see, but I doubt it. I mean, last year, but I doubt it. NFC South, okay, the Bucs are a lock. Okay, another 3 teams. Panthers, rebuilding. Falcons, can't trust them. Saints, pretty much rebuilding. Drew Brees retired. We know how good they are. So to me, the NFC West has a very good chance, and I think the likelihood is actually more than 50% that they will take 4 teams to the playoffs this year. It's a very good chance it's going to happen. So we'll see.